discuss the important general characteristics of inhaled anesthetics. Third, that we'll be able to understand their mechanism of action and especially their kinetics and adverse effects. So yun lang. So when we say general anesthesia, it's a drug-induced reversible. Importante yung reversible, no? Reversible state consisting of 4 important components. Na pag nagbigay ka ng anesthesia, merong amnesia, analgesia, hypnosis, and muscle relaxation. Yan ang characteristic ng ideal anesthetics. However, walang isang anesthetic agent that is able to give all of these features. Therefore, in anesthesia, for general anesthesia, we combine anesthetic agents. Sometimes it's a combination of inhaled and IV anesthetics. So, ang ideal anesthetic kasi dapat meron siyang 4. Okay, so kaya dahil walang isang anesthetic agent that be able to give all of those, meron na tawag na balanced anesthesia. So yun yung balanced anesthesia, combination of anesthetic agents that is able to give all these 4 components. Now, there are phases of general anesthesia, hindi naman yung karaka-raka, ano. So, the initial phase of anesthesia is what we call the pre-medication and evaluation. So, during evaluation, i-assess mo yung pasyente para malaman mo kung ano yung risk niya during anesthesia. And that is using the ASA Physical Status Classification. ASA stands for American Society of Anesthesiologists. Kaya na ginagamit din natin dito to classify our patients. And then basically before going to the OR, okay, so siyempre naka-NPO sila, and the primary reason is to prevent aspiration. Wait lang . Nakalimutan ko palang i-record. Ay, teka lang. Uli-uli tayo. Wait lang . Pause ko. Kasi mawawalan ako ng battery. Wait lang. Uli-uli, mag-take 2 tayo, be, ha? Magre-recording tayo. Alright. I-record ko lang ulit to, ha? Para may upload ko yung recording. Ayan. Good morning. So today we'll be discussing about anesthetic agents. So from inhaled anesthetic to local anesthetics. Now, so the objectives for today's lecture include: 1, to understand the concepts of basic anesthesia, to explain the general characteristics of inhaled anesthetics, and the special dynamic and kinetic characteristic of each gas and IV and local anesthetics, explain their mechanism of action, enumerate and explain the adverse effects. So those are the 4 main objectives for today's lecture. All right, so let's talk about general anesthesia. So when we say general anesthesia, it's a drug-induced reversible state of consisting of 4 components. So these are amnesia, analgesia, hypnosis, and muscle relaxation. However, there is no one anesthetic agent that is able to induce all of these 4 components. And therefore, most of the time, there is always a combination, sometimes of inhaled and IV anesthetics. Kaya yun ang tinatawag nating balanced anesthesia. So there are phases for general anesthesia. One is the pre-medication and evaluation. So prior to giving the anesthetic agent, okay? Tanggalin ko lang muna yung ano ko yung video ko kasi mahina ang signal ba. Stop video ko lang. Yan. So, before going to the emergency room, the operating room, the anesthesiologist will evaluate the patient and classify the patient based on ASA classification. So ASA stands for American Society of Anesthesiologists Physical Status Classification. This determines the risk of the patient for anesthesia during the procedure. And then also, they have to assess the airway of the patient using the Malampati scoring. Now, prior to the OR, of course, patient will have to be under NPO or nothing by mouth so that we prevent aspiration. Now, during this time also, we give pre-medications to the patient. And pre-medications are mostly drugs given to alleviate the anxiety of the patient. Then we have the induction. So this time, nasa OR na yung pasyente. Okay? So when we say induction, there is transition from awake to asleep, from awake to asleep state. And this may be done either by using an IV inhalational agent or an IV medication or via inhalational agent. Then, of course, after putting the patient to sleep, we have to maintain the state of the patient while the patient undergoes the procedure. Okay? So, for maintenance, meron ding ginagamit na inhalational agent, meron ding IV. And lastly, after the procedure, the patient should wake up. Ito yung emergence phase, no? So dito yung mga muscle relaxants, mare-reverse dapat yung effect niya para makagalaw na yung pasyente. And then we wait for the patient to regain the protective reflexes. After that, the patient can be wheeled back to the room. Now, let's talk about general anesthetics. So, pag sinabi natin general anesthetics, ano ang sabi natin? Generalized CNS depression. So, when you say generalized CNS depression, there is, there will be the patient is asleep, okay? And there is lack of perception of all sensations. Kaya parang nagmumukhang may analgesic effect. Well, in fact, wala lang siyang nararamdaman. So, the mechanism of inhaled anesthetics could be any of the following. So most of them would basically enhance the effect of GABA through the GABA-A channel, either by working as modulator or as agonist. Some would block the function of excitatory ionic channels, like the NMDA. A perfect example is nitrous oxide, which blocks the NMDA receptors. So when we give the inhaled or the general anesthetics, patient will develop unconsciousness, amnesia, analgesia, and there would be inhibition of autonomic reflexes and skeletal muscle relaxation. So these are the stages of anesthesia. So syempre, ang ginago lang ng anesthesiologist is that the patient would go into stage 3, yung surgical anesthesia, and eventually ma-reverse siya. No? Kasi pagka sumobra ka, pwedeng magkaroon ng medullary depression, and ito yung mahirap na i-reverse. So remember the important things that you have to do while giving anesthesia. You have to be vigilant. So there should always be monitoring while the procedure is going on, okay? And you monitor the oxygenation, okay, the cardiac status, and the carbon dioxide status of the patient. So airway, breathing, and circulation. Now, we go to the inhaled anesthetics. Ito talaga yun. So, yun, introduction lang yun. So, kilalanin natin ngayon. Ano ngayon yung mga general anesthetics? So, general anesthetics could be inhaled or given IV. Okay? So yung mga inhaled anesthetics, of course, they utilize the anesthesia machine, okay, um, to push the agent into the alveoli. Okay? Now, the modern inhaled anesthetics are halogenated. Anong importansya nun? The halogen, okay, using fluorine. Okay? Kasi naalala nyo sa chemistry dati, di ba? Sa table ng chemistry, ng, ng mga elements, di ba? Table of elements. Meron ka doon na mga halogens. So kasama doon fluorine, bromine, 'di ba? Mga ganun. So yung fluorine yun ang ginagamit sa anesthesia to provide stability and to make the anesthetic agent less toxic. So there are two types of inhaled anesthetics. We have the volatile and the gaseous anesthetics. So basically, para maalala nyo, ang volatile, liquid ang form niya at room temperature. Okay? So mababa ang vapor pressure, mataas ang boiling point. Yung mga gas naman, nakalagay sa tangke. Okay? They are already at the gas form, even at room temperature. So example niyan is your nitrous oxide. Wait lang ha. So, let's talk about the partial pressure of gas. So, ano ba itong partial pressure of gas? Ito ay characteristic ng mga inhaled anesthetics, no? Dahil gas nga sila eh, di ba? So, in the individual pressure, this is the individual pressure exerted by a specific gas in a mixture of gases. So, like dito sa atmosphere natin, it's a combination, di ba? Combination of different gases in the atmosphere. May carbon dioxide ka, may nitrogen, may oxygen. So yung each of those gas, okay, has their individual partial pressure. Now, in case of anesthetic agents, it's a driving force that will push the molecule from the machine to the patient's brain. Okay? Kasi ultimately, yun yung dapat na ma-reach ng ating anesthetic agent. Now, when we say total pressure, it is the sum of the partial pressure exerted by each gas present in the machine. So, ang normal total atmospheric pressure is 760 millimeters mercury. Okay? So, halimbawa mo sa anesthesia, doon sa circuit ng anesthesia, naglalaman siya ng 2% sevoflurane and 98% oxygen. So, ang ibig sabihin nun, 2% ng 760, which is the normal atmospheric pressure, yun ang nilalaman noong inhaled anesthetic. And the rest is oxygen. Okay? So kung halimbawa sinabi mong 2%, so 0.02 times 760, ganon. O kaya pagka in case of oxygen, 98, the 0.98 times 760, yan yung amount ng oxygen at sevoflurane doon sa anesthetic agent. Okay? Yan yung pressure nila. Okay. Dali lang ah. So, now, paano ba nadidistribute yung gas, no? So from the anesthesia machine, syempre, so either by mask or by intubation, the gas will eventually proceed to the lung first, di ba? So from the machine to the lungs, and then from the lungs, it will be absorbed by the blood, which will eventually carry the anesthetic agent to the brain. So from area of high concentration to the area of lower concentration. So, kailan mangyayari yung anesthesia? Mararamdaman na ng pasyente yung anesthesia o ma-exhibit na ng pasyente yung anesthesia once the once there is an equilibrium. Ibig sabihin, yung partial pressure ng gases sa alveoli up to the brain is the same. Okay? So, Yun nga sabi dito, anesthesia occurs when the partial pressure in the brain reaches a threshold, which is, okay, masasabi natin na yung threshold na yon, meaning to say, nag-equilibrate na ang partial pressure sa brain at sa alveoli. Okay? Dali lang. Okay? Ito ba ang date ngayon? 15 ano? Dali lang ha. Now, so another concept that we need to understand is the minimum alveolar concentration. So ang minimum alveolar concentration is parang yan yung median effective dose, no? It's the 'di ba pag sinabi nating median effective dose, it is the concentration of the drug that is able to exert its therapeutic effect in 50% of the population. So ganun din yung MAC. Okay? It's the concentration of the vapor in the alveoli that prevents. Ito naman, muscular movement. Kasi syempre, anesthetic to eh, di ba? So, pinaka, ang pinaka-measure ng kanyang effect is that there would be no muscular movement in response to painful stimulus in 50% of patients. Okay? So, sa drugs, sa iba-ibang drugs natin, yung therapeutic effect niya. Itong sa anesthesia, ang endpoint is that there is no movement in response to painful stimulus. Now, ang clinical rule is that yung combination ng MAC sa isang sa na nakalagay doon sa anesthetic sa anesthesia machine is additive. So kung halimbawa binigyan mo ng 0.5 MAC ng nitrous oxide, 0.5 MAC ng sevoflurane, ang total MAC noon ay 1 MAC. Ganon. Okay? So pagka ED50 siya, so the MAC is a measure of the potency of the agent. It is a measure of potency. The lower the MAC, the more potent an agent is. The higher the MAC, the less potent it is. Okay? Tandaan niyo yan ha. So there is inverse relationship between MAC and potency. Now, how is MAC related to partial pressure? So, ang MAC is technically, siya yung partial pressure ng gas at equilibrium. Okay? Ito yung partial pressure of gas at equilibrium required to anesthetize 50% of patient. And MAC is always expressed in terms of percentage. Okay? So pag sinabi mong 1 MAC of isoflurane, okay? It is equivalent to ibig sabihin naglalagay ka ng isoflurane that would exert 1.15% na partial pressure. Okay? 1.15% sa total pressure doon sa gas. 'Di ba sabi natin, no? So pagka sinabi mong 1.15%, it refers to the pressure component niya doon sa total pressure. So halimbawa, 'di ba, ang total atmospheric pressure is 760. So yung 1 MAC is equivalent to 1.15%. Kaya i-multiply mo diyan, ito siya. Ito ngayon yung isoflurane na binibigay mo. Okay? Kaya mag-alala, hindi ko naman bibigay sa computation. Kaya pakita ko lang sa inyo yung relationship ng partial pressure at saka ng MAC. Okay? Now, yung MAC is not affected by the duration of anesthesia. Hindi siya nagbabago. Yung potency niya, it doesn't change with the duration of anesthesia, the gender, the height, weight of the patient, or whether the patient is hypo or hyperthyroid. However, the MAC of an inhaled anesthetic may be affected by certain factors. Now, These are the factors that tend to lower the MAC. So pag sinabi mo, ang sabi natin, the lower the MAC, the more potent it becomes. So may mga factors na nagbababa that decreases the MAC of the inhaled anesthetics. Okay? Example, since 'di ba ang mga inhaled, isipin mo lang, ang mga inhaled anesthetic natin ay CNS depressant. So ibig sabihin, if the patient comes in at yung pasyente nakainom, no? Acute alcohol, 'di ba? Uminom siya ngayon ng alak, lasing na lasing siya ngayon. Yun yung acute alcohol use. O kaya kung yung pasyente ay naka-benzodiazepine, okay? Halimbawa mo naka-benzodiazepine siya o kaya nag-take ng opiate kaya pala na-aksidente o dinala sa OR. So, 'di ba yan ay mga CNS depressant na. So therefore, yung mga anesthetic agent ay CNS depressant din. Okay? So itong mga drugs na ito na sinabi dito, benzodiazepines, opiates, alcohol, yan, they tend to decrease the MAC because they tend to potentiate the inhaled anesthetic. Kaya, anong mangyayari? Less gas ang ibibigay mo doon sa pasyente. Okay? Kasi, ano na sila? Down na sila. So, aside from drug use, okay, certain conditions like anemia, okay, high altitude, yung mga nabigyan din ng IV anesthetics, pregnant, ganyan, o hypothermic patient, yung mga conditions na yon, they tend to decrease the MAC and increases the potency of the inhaled anesthetic. Therefore, they require less gas. Ganun, ha? Now, there are factors that increase the MAC. Ito naman, yung mga parang nilalabanan, yung CNS depressant noong inhaled anesthetic. Kaya ito, ini-increase nila yung MAC at sabi natin, pag mataas ang MAC, less potent. Okay? So, ini-increase nila yung MAC. Ibig sabihin, kailangan mo ngayon magbigay ng mas marami pang agent, na? Kasi, kailangan mo bigyan ng 1.5 MAC yung pasyente ng inhaled anesthetic. Kasi, ito yung mga condition that tend to lower the potency of the inhaled anesthetic. Yung chronic alcohol use, no? Iba yung acute alcohol use sa chronic alcohol abuse. Yung acute alcohol, ito yung dumating sa ER, halimbawa mo na aksidente dahil uminom o lasing na lasing siya. So, yun, acute alcohol yun. Iba naman yung chronic alcohol abuse. Ito naman yung pasyente na halimbawa mo, ooperahan. Chronic alcohol user to manginginom, oo. Biglang nagkaroon ng ruptured appendix, o di ba? So pagka chronic alcohol user yung pasyente, ang tendency naman niya, di ba sanay na siya sa CNS depressant, parang nagkaroon na siya ng tolerance. So ang tendency ngayon yan, sa mga depressant, di kailangan nila ng more gas, no? So chronic alcohol use tend to increase the MAC or increase the requirement for more inhaled gas because chronic alcohol use lower the potency of inhaled anesthetic. Same thing with MAOIs, tricyclic antidepressants, yung mga cocaine users, yung mga shabu user, yan. Kailangan yan more gas. Kasi yung mga gamot na yan or yung mga substances na yan, they lower the potency of inhaled anesthetics. Now, aside from those drugs, young age, very young age, high temperature, and decreased altitude, all of these can also lower the potency of inhaled anesthetic, thereby requiring higher MAC, more gas, okay? More inhaled anesthetics. Now, another property of inhaled anesthetic is yung blood gas partition coefficient. Ano man yung blood gas partition coefficient? So, parang ano lang yan, it's a measure of solubility of the inhaled anesthetic to the blood. Oo. So, ito, syempre, di ba, in as much as yung oxygen natin, di ba, napupunta doon sa blood natin. So, parang ganun din yan, na yung inhaled anesthetic, gaano siya kagaling na pumasok doon sa blood. Oo, yung isipin mo na yung blood is like a sponge, no? So kung halimbawa very soluble, very blood soluble yung agent, di madali siyang masosoak ng blood, kukunin siya ng blood, no? So yun yung sasabi mong high solubility. Pag sinabi mo namang low low blood gas partition coefficient, ibig sabihin na yung inhaled anesthetic, hindi siya masyadong natutunaw sa dugo. Oo, hindi siya masyadong natutunaw. And therefore, mabilis siyang makahiwalay sa blood, no? Hindi malikot yung isipin mo malikot yung gas, hindi siya nagstay within the blood, it easily moves out, no? So yun yung sinasabi natin na low inhaled anesthetics with low solubility. They do not want to stay in the blood. Okay? And therefore, pagka the moment na pwede na silang mag-take off, umaalis sila. That's why they are called the fast gases. Kasi syempre, yung blood, di ba, pagka-pump ng heart ng blood, edi yung blood, pupunta ngayon yan, no? Mag-move from the alveoli, pupunta ngayon, pupunta sa brain. And the moment makarating yan sa brain, yung gas, humihiwalay agad, lumalabas sa circulation. Pupunta ngayon siya sa brain tissue. Pagkatapos, babalik na naman uli sa intravascular space through the venous circulation. Babalik sa lungs. Pagkatapos,
Ano po yan?
e-excrete na. Kaya yung mga
Second,
inhaled anesthetics
yung
na
lungs.
may low
Nakalip.
solubility, they are
Mm.
what you call the fast gases. Fast on, fast off. So yung mga highly soluble, okay, mga highly soluble inhaled anesthetic, they have slow induction. Oo, mabagal. Kasi nga, they tend to stay in the blood. And therefore, yung recovery din nila, mabagal. Now, in as much as there is blood gas partition coefficient, meron din tayong natawag na oil gas solubility. Importanteng characteristic din to ng inhaled agent because it is the solubility of this agent in the oil or in lipid that will determine their speed, no? The speed of induction. So sabi natin, the more lipid-soluble a gas, the more potent it is. Okay? So, oil gas solubility determines the potency. The blood gas solubility determines yung speed. So, naalala niyo ha? So, yung blood gas solubility, it determines the speed by which the inhaled anesthetic reaches the brain, while oil gas solubility determines its potency. Okay? Or affect its potency. So, take a look at this picture. Okay? So, dito sa itaas, nakita mo yung nitrous oxide. Nitrous oxide is an inhaled anesthetic that is not very soluble in blood. So, mababa yung blood gas partition coefficient niya. So, therefore, from the airway, nakita nyo yung molecule, nandiyan siya, hindi siya nagbabago kasi hindi siya talaga, so from the airway, pupunta sa alveoli, okay? At sa alveoli, na napapaligiran siya ng blood vessels, so pupunta siya doon sa blood vessel at tapos pag nakarating na sa brain, lalabas siya sa brain, pero pagkagaling sa brain, babalik uli sa blood. So, di ba? Kasi di ba yung gas malikot di ba? Ikot ng ikot yan. So, ganun itong yan ang nature ng nitrous oxide. Hindi siya nagtatagal sa isang compartment kasi hindi siya ganun ka-soluble. Unlike in halothane, ang halothane is very soluble in the blood. So, nakita nyo, from the airway, pupunta sa alveoli, mataas pa rin, pero pag kinuha na siya ng blood, natutunaw siya dun sa blood at therefore, mabagal yung transport sa brain at mabagal din yung movement from the brain back to the blood going to the alveoli. Okay? Yan. Now, ano ba yung uptake? Okay, pag sinabi mong anesthetic uptake, it is the rate of rise of anesthetic agent in the alveoli. So, ibig sabihin, kailangan kasi from the machine, the gas should reach the alveoli, di ba? Ganon. However, ang alveoli, hindi naman siya closed. Kasi the alveoli are surrounded by blood vessels. At isipin mo na yung blood vessels na yon ay parang butas doon sa alveoli na siyang sumisipsip sa air from the alveoli. And in case of anesthetic agent, pagka pinush ng anesthetic machine yung gas papunta sa alveoli, yung anesthetic agent na nasa alveoli ay sisipsipin naman ng mga blood na nandoon sa alveolar capillary, 'di ba? Maraming vessels din doon 'di ba? So kukunin yun. So the more soluble the gas, okay? The faster is I mean, the more soluble a gas, the more na yung gas nakukuha noong circulation. Diba? At habang kinukuha ng circulation yung gas from the alveoli, hindi nagtatagal yung time para maka-equate yung alveolar concentration doon sa inspired concentration. Yung FI is inspired anesthetic, which is delivered by the machine. The FA is the alveolar concentration. So, ano bang importansya niyan? Yung FA-FI ratio, para siyang speedometer. Okay? So, mini-measure nito kung gaano kabilis nag-i-equilibrate yung, yung pressure ng inhaled anesthetic between the machine and the alveoli. Okay? So, pagka nag-equal na sa 1 yung FA-FI ratio, it is already in perfect equilibrium at doon na magi-start yung induction. Okay? So, there are factors that determines the uptake of the inhaled anesthetic. Una na nga is solubility. The more soluble a gas, the more na-extract ng blood yung gas from the alveoli, and siyempre habang ine-extract ng gas ng blood yung gas sa alveoli, di siyempre nababawasan yung inhaled anesthetic doon sa alveoli, di ba? Until such time na magkaroon na ng equilibrium na para pantay-pantay na sila. Di ba sabi natin from area of high concentration to area of lower concentration. Once na yung blood ay napuno na rin ng inhaled anesthetic, mag-i-equal-equal na yung kanilang partial pressure, yung kanilang pressure. At pagka ganun, magkakaroon na ng induction. Okay? So pagka more soluble yung gas, mas nade-delay yung increase ng inhaled anesthetic doon sa alveoli kasi parang maraming butas no? Kinukuha kasi ng blood yung anesthetic agent sa alveoli. And then another factor, yung cardiac output. If the heart is pumping very fast, ibig sabihin, there is more blood going in the lungs. And then there is more blood that will take up the inhaled anesthetic from the alveoli. So, ibig sabihin, the higher the cardiac output, mag-slow down yung induction. Bakit mag-slow down ang induction? Kasi yung alveolar concentration noong gas, mababa dahil kinukuha noong blood. Oo. Pero kung mababa ang cardiac output, napakabagal. 'Di ba? So, ibig sabihin, mabagal din yung daloy ng dugo. And therefore, yung pag-take up ng inhaled anesthetic from the alveoli, mabagal din. At dahil mabagal yung pag-take up ng anesthetic from the alveoli, yung alveoli madaling mapuno ng inhaled anesthetic. Parang gano'n na lang isipin mo. So, pag madali siyang mapuno, mag-equilibrate siya kaagad sa inspired fraction at ang ratio magiging 1 agad. At pag nagkaganon, mas mabilis ang induction. And lastly, yung alveolar venous pressure difference. So, which is parang it determines the hunger of the tissue for the inhaled anesthetic. Now, if the body is empty of gas, the gradient is steep. So, the greater the gradient between the alveolar and venous pressure, the greater is the uptake. So, again, okay? So, the uptake of the body, ang uptake is determined by the pulmonary circulation. Ito siya. So, yung pulmonary circulation is the arterial circulation is the small a. Capital A is alveolar. Okay? So, the greater the uptake, okay? Sino magti-take up ng inhaled anesthetic, yung small a. Okay? So, pag kinukuha niya, ninanakaw niya yung inhaled anesthetic from the alveoli, mabagal yung pag-increase ng FA-FI ratio. Okay? Now, pero if there is less blood going there, no? So less uptake. The less uptake, mas mabilis yung pag-rise ng FA-FI ratio. Okay? So, the higher the blood gas solubility, mas slow ang rise in FA-FI and therefore mabagal ang induction. Ito yung importanteng maunawaan natin. Now, the lower the blood gas solubility, mas mabilis mag-rise yung FAFI kasi hindi nakukuha ng blood yung gas, and therefore, pag mabilis tumaas ang FAFI ratio, mabilis nilang ma-meet yung equilibrium, okay? And there would now be faster induction. Okay? Now, this just goes to tell you kung saan napupunta yung inhaled anesthetic. So, 'di ba, binigay ng machine, napunta sa alveoli, tinake up ng blood. Okay? So, saan dadali ng blood? Ang unang makaka-receive ng inhaled anesthetics are the highly vascularized organ. At ito na yon, yung brain, yung number 1. Followed by the heart, the liver, the kidneys. Siyempre, yung poorly vascularized, like the bone, the cartilage, hindi na sila halos napupuntahan noong inhaled anesthetics. Okay? So, remember again, the uptake, when you say uptake, is like the blood is stealing the gas from the lungs. So, highly soluble gases, and if the patient has high cardiac output, the uptake is increased, and this will slow down induction. Matagal bago mo siya mapatulog. Okay? And distribution, sabi natin, it favors, of course, the highly vascularized organ. Now, punta na tayo sa elimination. Now, the primary route of elimination is through the lungs. Doon din yung excretion, no? Parang ganon, no? Now, pag sinabi mo kasing induction, it means that the inhaled anesthetic is distributed from the alveoli to the blood. Okay? From area of high concentration sa alveoli to area of low concentration, which is in the blood. Pagka naman elimination na, pinatay mo na yung inhaled, yung anesthesia machine. Di wala nang nagpupush ng anesthesia, di pinatay mo na yan. So, ang concentration ngayon ng inhaled anesthetic, mas mataas na ngayon sa blood kumpara mo ngayon sa alveoli. Kaya ang tendency ngayon ng inhaled anesthetic ay pabalik doon sa alveoli. And eventually, i-exhale. Oo. So, kapag ka nasa OR ka at gumagamit kayo ng inhaled anesthetic at yung pasyente ay pagising na, ibig sabihin, yung inhaled anesthetic nandiyan na rin sa hangin na nilalanghap mo. Oo, ganon. Now, ano ba yung fresh gas flow? So, it is used to wake the patient up, no, faster by giving oxygen. Kasi syempre, kung meron kang tinanggal doon sa gas chamber, doon sa machine, kailangan mapalitan mo yun kasi kailangan yung partial pressure ma-retain mo at 760. So, magtatas ka ng oxygen para ma-retain mo yung 760 na partial pressure. So, pag tinanggal mo yung machine, bigyan mo ng oxygen. And that way, nawawash out mo yung anesthesia. So, what are the factors of speed recovery? So, siyempre, again, solubility. So, kung mas soluble yung agent, mas mabagal siyang ma-eliminate. And therefore, yung recovery, mas mabagal. Pero kung insoluble, they are eliminated much faster. And next, about duration of anesthesia, that also affects the recovery. Siyempre, kung mas matagal yung operasyon, di mas matagal kang nagbibigay ng anesthesia. At therefore, yung anesthesia, may time siya na umikot sa katawan mo. No? Kung highly soluble pa yan siya, di umikot na talaga yan sa buong katawan mo. So, the duration of anesthesia, kung mas matagal siyang nagtitake ng anesthesia dahil sa tagal ng procedure, mas matagal din, syempre, yung recovery. Kasi nagstay yung agent nadidistribute kasi siya even to muscles and fats. Okay? Now, so elimination, di ba? So elimination is combination of metabolism and excretion. So sa primary route ng excretion is through the lungs. How about metabolism? Now, majority of inhaled anesthetics are not metabolized. 99% is exhaled unchanged. There are only few inhaled anesthetics that undergo metabolism. Ang pinakamalakas ang metabolism is halothane. 20% of inhaled halothane is metabolized in the liver. And the metabolism leads to a toxic metabolite causing halothane hepatitis. So, minsan nga ang metabolism ng mas maganda kung ang inhaled anesthetic hindi naman metabolize kasi metabolism will lead to metabolites. And sometimes yung metabolite nila, yun yung nagkukos ng toxicity rather than nakakadagdag sa excretion noong anesthetic agent. Another one is sevoflurane. Although mababa lang naman, 5% of sevoflurane that is distributed in the liver is metabolized into metabolite, which is an inorganic fluoride that theoretically could lead to nephrotoxicity. Yung isoflurane, desflurane, mas lalo nang kukonti yung name-metabolize, kaya very negligible yung kanilang effect. Negligible yung kanilang toxic. Now, ang nitrous oxide, hindi naman siya na-metabolize by human tissues, but metabolized by the gastrointestinal tract, bacteria, flora. And it breaks down nitrous oxide molecule. Now, meron tayong tinatawag na diffusion hypoxia. So, ano yun? Now, when nitrous oxide is used as part of the balanced anesthesia at natapos na yung procedure, sinara na ang nitrous oxide, stop na siya. Nitrous oxide is very insoluble, di ba? Na pinakita ko sa inyo, insoluble siya. And it moves out of the blood into the alveoli and then out of the lung. Ganyan siya kabilis. And because of that, dahil part siya noong ng pressure, ng total pressure sa 760, di ba? Part siya noon, pagka tinanggal mo siya, pwedeng mag-hypoxia yung pasyente. Kaya kailangan bigyan mo kaagad ng 100% oxygen for 5 to 10 minutes para mapalitan mo kung ano yung nawala na nitrous oxide. Okay? So, ito yung mga concepts na dapat nating maalala. No? Yung primary route of excretion via inhalation, the speed of recovery, the longer the surgery, the slower the recovery, and the metabolism is very minimal. Okay? So, ang pinakamarami is sevo, followed by iso, less yung desflurane. Now we go now to the effect. Natapos na tayo sa kinetic, dynamic, punta na tayo ngayon sa systemic effect. So, ang volatile anesthetics, they are cerebral vasodilator. So, kung cerebral vasodilator, it can possibly increase the intracranial pressure. Kaya dapat alam mo na pagka meron kang surgery, kung saan mataas ang intracranial ng pasyente, you have to be very vigilant. Okay? You do not want too much vasodilation kung mataas ng intracranial pressure ng pasyente from the very beginning. And to avert that, ang ginagawa naman ngayon is to decrease the partial arterial carbon dioxide pressure through hyperventilate mo yung pasyente. Yan naman. And that will lead to cerebral vasoconstriction. Now, all volatile agents also decrease the mean arterial pressure pero magkakaiba yung mechanism ng pag-lower ng BP. In case of halothane and enflurane, the reduction in arterial blood pressure is brought about by myocardial depression. Remember that blood pressure is a product of cardiac output and total peripheral resistance. There are two main factors, the cardiac, which is in the heart, and in the vessels. So, in case of halothane and enflurane, the target is the heart. So, de-depress niya yung heart, madi-decrease yung cardiac output, and that will cause a reduction in blood pressure. Whereas, for isoflurane, desflurane, and sevoflurane, the reduction in blood pressure is brought about by direct effect on the vessels. They cause vasodilation. So, this will lower the total peripheral resistance that eventually will lower the blood pressure. Okay? Halothane, Enflu, and sevoflurane have very little effect on heart rate. While nitrous oxide, they depress the myocardium, however, it can activate the sympathetic nervous system. All inhaled anesthetic, they can cause a dose-dependent decrease in tidal volume, causing an increase in the respiratory rate, and it may lead to a shallow type of breathing pattern. All volatile anesthetics are respiratory depressants, and this can be overcome by assisting or controlling the ventilation mechanically. Inhaled anesthetics also lowers the GFR, so you have to monitor the urine output every now and then, and it can also lower portal vein blood flow. So these are the acute toxicity of the inhaled anesthetic. So nephrotoxicity for N-flu and sevoflurane, again, related to their metabolites. Hematotoxicity, megaloblastic anemia in case of nitrous oxide. And then malignant hyperthermia, okay? This is associated with halothane and some skeletal muscle relaxant and hepatotoxicity. Now, the chronic toxicity of inhaled anesthetic is not for the patient. Most of the time, it's not for the patient, but it's for the doctors, the nurses, and all the healthcare workers inside the operating room, because eventually they are the ones that inhale the gas or these inhaled anesthetics. Kasi di ba, exhale yan ng pasyente. Siyempre, nasa air na yan at nilalanghap yan ng mga doktor, ng mga nurses na nandoon sa OR, unless meron kang napakagandang airflow, no? Kung saan na-exhaust dapat yung mga gases na yan. Okay? So, otherwise, kung parati kang nakababad sa OR at parating naka-expose ka sa inhaled anesthetic, may tendency na magkaroon ng mutagenic effect. Kung ikaw ay buntis, magkaroon ng teratogenic effect. Kung parati-rati, pwede magkaroon ng carcinogenic effect. Okay? Kaya mahirap din maging anesthesiologist, di ba? So, kailangan meron kang way para ma-exhale mo itong mga anesthetic agents na ito. Let's talk about individual inhaled anesthetics. Dito na tayo sa mga individual agents. So first, we have nitrous oxide, yung tawag nating laughing gas. It is almost always never used alone. Karaniwan lang ito ay kinocombine as part of the balance anesthesia. So it's an NMDA antagonist, and that's why it has an analgesic effect. Its MAC is 104. So hindi siya potent, di ba? It has also hindi siya potent, pero hindi rin siya soluble. And therefore, mabilis yung onset and offset of action. It is non-pungent, so hindi yan nakakasama sa, ibig sabihin, hindi mahirap lang hapin. Now, ano lang importanteng dapat natin malaman sa nitrous oxide? That it tends to go into air-filled cavity. So it is not used for surgery that where there would be a closed space na kung saan yung nitrous oxide pwedeng makapenetrate. So, example niya, kung may pneumothorax, kung may bowel obstruction. Kung may bowel obstruction, pwede yung obstructed bowel, mapunta doon yung nitrous oxide. Ano mangyari? Pwede mag-rupture. Okay? So, yun yung pinaka-delikado dito with nitrous oxide. So, tandaan nyo, yung mga closed space expansion caused by nitrous oxide. Next, we have the vitamin B12 inhibition. Nitrous oxide can inhibit vitamin B12 with long-term exposure, and it may cause megaloblastic anemia. Okay, so these are other disadvantages. So nitrous oxide can also increase post-op nausea and vomiting. It is sympathomimetic, so it has direct myocardial, sympathomimetic siya. Although it has, sympathomimetic siya, pero meron siyang direct myocardial depressant. Okay? So, it will stimulate the sympa except in the heart. Kasi yung nitrous oxide, dinedepress niya yung heart. Okay? Sa sympa, ano na lang mangyari? Constriction ng vessel. So, it can increase the pulmonary vascular resistance that may affect patients with pre-existing pulmonary hypertension. Then we go isoflurane. It's a classic anesthetic that is still widely used. However, it is pungent. Ibig sabihin may amoy siya na hindi maganda. Pero cheap siya, kaya ginagamit pa rin siya. Now, it's a MAC, it is highly potent with a MAC of 1.15%. So, medyo potent na rin siya. And it has moderate solubility. So, kaya medyo matagal din ang recovery or emergence ng pasyente. Basta tandaan nyo, itong isoflurane, cheap yan siya, pero pungent. So clinical use, it is good for maintaining stable blood flow for neurologic and cardiac surgery. And however, okay, ito yung adverse effect niya, ha? It can cause dilatation of the coronary arteries that can lead to natawag nating coronary still phenomenon, where yung healthy coronary arteries are dilated and they tend to steal the blood from areas where there are stenotic vessels. So na-divert yung blood flow to the healthy tissues at nawawala doon sa tissue kung saan sinusuplayan ng stenotic arteries. Kaya nagkakaroon ng pwedeng ischemia. Pwedeng magkaroon ng ischemia. Then you have desflurane. Ito yung sinatawag nating precision gas. Kasi ano to fast ang action nito. It has a fast onset and fast recovery. Okay? It has a rapid onset, yan. Pero problema, very pungent yan siya. May amoy. So it is used only for fast-paced surgery. Um, plus, desflurane requires a heated vaporizer kasi ang kanyang boiling point is the same as the room temperature. So it requires a special heated vaporizer. So it is used for bariatric surgery kasi excellent siya sa mga obese patient, hindi siya nag-store sa lungs. Pero anong problema sa kanya? Airway irritant siya kasi very pungent siya and may cause laryngospasm. And it may stimulate the sympathetic nervous system causing an increase in heart rate and blood pressure. Then we have Sevu. Ito yung pediatric-friendly gold standard, karaniwang ginagamit sa mga bata. To given only via mask induction. Hindi ini-intubate, pinapa-inhale lang via mask. So, mabango siya, sweet-smelling, it doesn't irritate the airway, and it has low solubility, kaya mabilis yung onset at saka recovery. Okay, so pambata yan si Sevu. So, it is perfect even for adults with needle phobia. Kasi ang gagawin nila, patutulugin nila. Pagkasinghot na gano'n ng pasyente, borlog na. Pagkatapos, pwede nang insertan ng IV. So it doesn't cause too much tachycardia and it doesn't sensitize the heart to catecholamines. Then we have, so ano lang ang issue ng sevoflurane? Na-metabolize siya sa liver and the metabolite is what you call the compound A, which is nephrotoxic. So to prevent that, di magbigay ka ng fresh gas flow. So bigyan mo ng oxygen. Okay? Now, ang isa pa sa kanya yung emergence delirium na pagka nagising yung pasyente, nagiging wild siya. So, this is very common, especially for children. Nagiging agitated siya. Meron naman tayong pangontra dyan. Bibigyan mo ng mga benzo para makatulog uli. Ganon. Then lastly, halothane. Ito hindi na siya masyadong ginagamit. Napakaluma na niya siya. It's a grandfather of all inhalational anesthetic. Pero pinaka-potent pa rin siya hanggang ngayon kasi ang MAC lang niya 0.75%. It has a high blood gas partition coefficient. Anong ibig sabihin nun? Very soluble siya sa blood. And therefore, ang induction takes a while. Okay? And the recovery or emergence is also delayed. Ano pang dapat nating tandaan sa halothane? It is metabolized in the liver. Di ba sabi natin 20% is metabolized in the liver. At anong mangyayari? It can cause halothane hepatitis. Yan yung red flag ng halothane. Yung type 1, mild lang. Pero yung type 2, ito yung fulminant. No? Yung fulminant type is caused by the metabolite, trifluoroacetyl chloride that binds to liver cells or liver proteins to produce neoantigen na aatakihin ng immune system. So parang immune-mediated yon. And this is, and the adults, especially obese patients or obese women, talagang pinasabi pa talaga, obese women are more at risk for developing halothane hepatitis. Eh di ayaw namin sa kanya, hindi siya gagamitin sa amin, di ba? Another one is halothane shiver. Na pagkatapos mong gamitan ng halothane, bigla ka mag-shiver, yung post-op shivering. Nakaramdam na ba kayo nun? O dati, pag na-operahan ako, may post-op shivering ako talaga. Yan. Right? So, it's also a potent bronchodilator. So, okay siya sa mga pasyenteng may asthma. And however, it sensitizes the heart to the effect of catecholamine. So magta-tachycardia naman yung pasyente. Okay? So that's all about inhaled anesthetics. Itong mga rest na ito, the rest of the slides, okay, like this one is a table showing you the difference between Halothane, the oldest, and Sevoflurane for the youngest. Oh, yan. Okay? And also, a table comparing the differences of inhaled anesthetics in terms of their speed of induction, whether they are irritant to the airway, and uh, their best clinical use. Oo, saan sila ginagamit. And ano yung karaniwan nilang adverse effects. So, yan. Napaka-high yield nito, mga B, itong table na ito. Ha? So, unawain mabuti itong table na to, memorize. Okay? So, we'll take a break at this point. So, mag-recover muna kayo. Oo. Mag-inhale, exhale. Okay? Para ma-eliminate natin ang mga inhaled anesthetics na kaka-inhale lang natin. Okay? So, I'll give you some time. Not too long, but not too short. Mga 5 to 10 minutes para kumain kayo, mag-toothbrush kayo dahil baka hindi pa kayo nagtutoothbrush. Tapos, babalik tayo for another round of anesthetics. Okay? So, sige. Break.